Narcissists always return to the scene of the crime. They return to most of their victims because, honestly, you were likely just gullible like I was. It's even more likely that they're going to return to someone like you watching this video if you're empathetic, if you are one of the rare people in the narcissist life that actually love them. If you notice, they usually had toxic relationships in the past. And when they move on from you, they go on to someone worse. They're not just going to run into another person that believes all their lies completely and gives them everything like you did. They keep coming back to you because you're accepting the Hoover. And a lot of people are claiming that I'm victim blaming, but what I'm really trying to do here is empower you. I walked around with all of this trauma for so long. And when I realized that I was the one letting it affect me, because I realized some people aren't aware they're even being victimized, and that's a big part of it. I was gullible. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was untouchable. And then the narcissist happened. When you're arrogant and maybe you already healed, I thought I was at that stage. I thought like it was when I already knew all the stuff about narcissism. I thought I was untouchable. And then the last discard that was so brutal and humiliating happened to me. You let your guard down when you aren't aware of what is going on around you. You become a target for these type of people, and people are confusing this for victim blaming. But what I'm telling you is, I walked around as a victim for a very long time. I wasted years of my life walking around in that state, believing that I was a loser, that I couldn't amount to anything. But those are thoughts that the world implanted into me. Those weren't my that wasn't my how I felt about myself. It was how other people were telling me I should feel about myself. Because that's how they feel about themselves. The narcissist projects their insecurities, their awful personality onto you because that's all they know. And they want to drag you down to that level. They want you to keep being unaware of the fact that they don't actually care about you, the fact that they're just hoovering you to use you. Of course, the narcissist keeps returning to you. Part of it is that we haven't fully healed. Part of it is that we may not even be fully aware of what narcissism is, and we're still holding on to that hope that maybe it was all a mistake, and we're gonna get back this person. We're gonna get the narcissist is not there. Why do you think when you look into their eyes, they're soulless? They feel empty. They are the ones that have implanted all of those negative thought patterns in yourself. But the truth is, you have the ability, like I did, to stop focusing on the negative and focus on the positive. That's how you stop getting roped back into these relationships with the narcissist. And the narcissist and the empath, the highly sensitive person, came from likely a very similar experience. Why does the narcissist feel empty and soulless? Because we both grew up in a traumatic experience, a traumatic environment, but they chose to just destroy themselves and create that false self. That's why they feel so empty. That's why they are living on this very low plane of existence. It's just like nothingness, just pure survival mode. But the empath went another way. They honestly, it's good and bad. They became kind of hyper vigilant. It's why we take on people's energy so deeply and why we end up getting hurt. And it's also why we end up dissociating a lot. Why a lot of empaths run into having all sorts of addictions because we're just trying to run away from these very intense feelings. But the truth is, when you sit there and actually feel those things and process them, you get better. A lot of what people get stuck in is yeah, sometimes they don't know what's going on, but when you start watching videos like this, when you start realizing what the narcissist is, a lot of it is not dealing with the trauma and negative experiences that are right in front of you. We're running away from them. I used to be that person. I used to just walk around as a victim, and I let these people have power over me, and I let these people waste more time than honestly they deserved. But this was some kind of karmic lesson, and until you realize that and really absorb what you need to learn here, because that's a beautiful thing about the human experience. You have the power to transmute negative experiences into positive experiences. And some people are calling this victim blaming. It's far from it. What I don't want is because some people tell me their stories in the comments and they're extremely sad, way worse than what I went through. What I don't want for you is for you to waste another second on these people that don't deserve it. I want you to awaken yourself. I want you to gain more awareness of what's going on around you. And you're not going to do that by walking around as a victim and blaming everything else but you. You That's what the narcissist does because they don't self-reflect. But you're not going to do that. You're going to sit there and analyze what is going on. Why am I accepting this type of behavior? And that's what's going to protect you from the narcissist in your life right now. It's going to protect you from being from other narcissists in the future. If you have the ability, which a lot of you do, to hyper focus and ruminate on the negative, then you have the ability to hyper focus on the positive things. It's the law of polarity, and it's a real thing. Just like there's night and day, hot and cold, there's always opposites to something. And if your mind has the capacity to hyper focus on negative things, then it also has a capacity to hyper focus on the positive, and that's how you get out of these ruts the narcissist gets you in. That's how you stop missing them because they're gonna keep coming back to you. It's all a game to them. And we're gonna keep falling for these traps until we gain more awareness because that's one of the karmic lessons I believe the narcissist came to teach me. They came to teach me that I was walking around in this very dissociated state. What I wanted to do in this life, it acquires a lot of attention and a lot of understanding about what the world really is. But I had reached a very low point in my life, which I thought was a high, but in reality, I was running away from my problems. Don't be like the narcissist that runs away from their problems. Face your problems, and I promise you'll start to see that things will get better. You won't even want them to hoover you anymore, but they will because that's what they do. They're gonna keep playing that game with you if they think they can get something out of you. So that's why I tell people you have to become more aware. You have to empower yourself because the narcissist is gonna be who they are and they're not gonna stop. But if we change who we are, if we become the type of person that doesn't allow toxic people into our life, then a lot of the problems we have with the narcissist and a lot of the problems we have with ourselves because of the narcissist will tend to go away.